I'm Dan Drake. This is Front Up on Geno TV and Channel 99. With us today is Darcy Creech, who is a island business person and a social activist in certain respects. And we want to talk about one of her projects, which developed about 3 years ago, which was the bicycle project for people, residents of our island home.
Yes, the Nantucket Wheelers.
Nantucket Wheelers. And then we want to talk a little bit about our island home, and then we want to talk about what's next for you.
Okay.
What other things do you have in your...
I do. I have another thing in the pipeline.
Good. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Nantucket Wheelers started out with a
so it was
Kickstart
an idea,
campaign, or one of those
a Kickstarter.
things.
It was an Indiegogo campaign, and basically what I wanted to do was, give back to the community and fill a need that wasn't met. And I didn't know what it was. I really couldn't find an organization that I wanted to partner up with. And then I saw a video on Facebook on Valentine's Day, and it said, what is love? And it was a video of a man who invented this wheelchair bicycle for his wife who had Alzheimer's. And by the end of the 1 minute video, I was in tears.
You were hooked.
I was just like, it was so beautiful, and I just thought that's something I would love to see. We have beautiful bike paths here, and I just thought it was a perfect fit. So it's worked out really well. We have 24 rotating volunteers.
How many bikes do you have?
We have 4 bicycles
4
now,
bicycles.
And we ride 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and it's just amazing.
How long do you take an individual out for?
Well, usually it's a 2 hour and 15 minute period of time. So it really the whole experience is not just the bike ride, but it's going in and finding your passenger for the day, and putting suntan lotion on them, making sure they have sunglasses and a hat, and really it's about caring and being a buddy, and they look forward to it so much. So it's been a blessing for the passengers and for the pedalers. I mean, everyone.
So you have about 20 pedalers?
We have about 20 to 24 rotating volunteers, and everyone commits to 1 or 2 time slots a week. And if they need to get a sub, we have an app that we developed on the website. You click on and you request a sub, and so it's running pretty smoothly. Yeah, there's a few glitches now and then, but
oh sure. But do you need more bikes, or you have enough?
Right now we have enough bikes. It's a storage problem. It's a storage problem. I mean, we are so thankful for Don Allen, because they let us use their brand new showroom as our station. So, we show up there every day. The Nerdabus unloads all the people from Island Home, and, they have been just overwhelmingly generous.
So you really can't start at our Island Home, can you? Because there's no path.
Because there's no bike path. So that's an issue, because sometimes the Nerdabus will cancel on us, and that's always a disappointment. But we just work around it. We're just,
So that's an accomplishment and a job well done.
Thank you.
Let's talk about our island home.
Okay.
I know that the story isn't over. And
the story is not over.
We don't know how it's going to end, but let's talk about sort of the beginning and how you got involved in the issue of whether our island home should be moved to another location or rebuilt.
Well, I mean, I just feel like I don't have a parent there. I don't. I'm an advocate. I've made friends there with the people who are residents, and I enjoy advocating on their behalf. That's the only thing that I get out of it. So Island Home definitely needs an upgrade. It's not functioning. It's got code issues. It needs to be improved. Whether or not that means rebuilding it or moving it is questions that we all have.
But you took a position very strongly against moving it before it went to the Board of Selectmen. Okay. Back in the fall, in the spring.
So I feel that there are 2 issues, and this might be oversimplifying it, but basically I feel like a lot of the decisions that have been made are based on an end game, are based on an agenda that's not being presented, that's not being truthfully presented. And so I feel like Island Home has a sustainability problem. It's very expensive to run. It's a deficit every year, but the first choice that we need to make before any of these other decisions are made about design, location, all that, one decision has to be made. Do the people of Nantucket want to subsidize a skilled nursing facility? We are one of only 2 skilled nursing facilities in the country that are managed by a town. It's not required.
Mm-hmm.
We are required to support our.
Where's the other one?
I don't know where it is.
There was one in Greenwich. I don't know, Connecticut. I don't know if it's still
Yeah,
there.
I know. There's like we're one of two that are left. So basically, we know that we have to support our schools and our fire department and our police department and those integral things. But a nursing home is kind of, it's kind of up in the air. And then there's a group that says, this is what we want to do. We are Nantucket people. We are exemplary. We are the best at our game in everything, in natural resources and museums and beautiful golf clubs that give scholarships. I mean, we do everything with excellence, and it's not always easy and it's not always inexpensive. So there's a group that goes by that Nantucket tradition. There's another group that says, you know what, this is a giant albatross. It's not sustainable. How are we going to unload it? And that's my assumption. Okay, that's not what we've been told, but the evidence points to this is something that the town is not interested in doing.
People have said that in the town. Whether that's the prevailing view, no one knows.
So I feel like a lot of decisions are being made without this major choice. Does the town of Nantucket, do the taxpayers want to pay for a nursing home or don't they? And that's when the decision should start to be made. It shouldn't be, we're going to choose Sherburne Commons and then make a bunch of reasons why Island Home doesn't work, because there have been a lot of misstated comments that aren't, a lot of things that have been presented as fact that really aren't fact.
Give us an example.
That there's no evacuation route, that it's in a flood zone. If you talk to engineers, they will say a 100-year flood zone or a 150-year flood zone, but there hasn't been documented. They haven't had engineers go to that property and do actual surveys. Yes, it would be much more difficult to build a facility around it in order not to disturb the residents, but I don't think it's impossible after seeing what they did with the Stop and Shop.
And what they're doing with the hospital.
And what they're doing with the hospital. But I think that what we're concerned about is a switch being made to a different location, which will allow a shakeup. Part of the problem with Island Home is the union. It costs a lot of money. A move, changing the care model, all these things will shake up the union. Jobs are going to be lost. There's going to be a different level of skilled nursing. What I believe is that whether it moves or not, the 45 beds that were allotted need to be for skilled nursing. They need to be for the people most in need. The government is saying, well, everyone can be cared for at home. The people at Island Home, for the most part, they can't be cared for at home anymore. They're being lifted on Hoyer lifts in order to be placed on the toilet or in a shower. Like, it's not going to happen at home. This is the people that are most in need. What I'm afraid of is that on the recent request for proposal, one of the line items is lay the groundwork for a non-town owned management company. Okay, so to me that says, let's get rid of it. Let's give it to a non-town owned management company to run. And the reason why that scares me is because, Sherburne Commons, if it becomes a part of Sherburne Commons, they don't accept Medicaid and Medicare. People who generally would be able to go to Island Home will no longer be able to afford to stay on Nantucket. So, and a lot of the things about their new care model is that it doesn't have the same level of care. And also it requires an infrastructure that might work off island because you have all these different services of visiting services. So off island in Hyannis, you would have an infrastructure where those visiting services are also going to be going to, Chatham
other
and Boston, and that's how they're going to make it work. On Nantucket, there's no other place for them to go. They don't have other.
But isn't the idea that if it does move to Sherburne Commons, it would be a separate facility it wouldn't be a
Well, that
it
is
wouldn't
what that is what is being talked about, but I don't think that that's the ultimate goal. I don't think that is honestly the ultimate goal. If it were, I think that all the different locations would be. I mean, I understand. I understand a concept of having everything in one spot. You know, having elder services. I don't understand why that can't be done on the Island Home Landmark House property. Like why that a hub for seniors or elders couldn't be on the location where it is.
I mean, a Landmark House must be getting to the point where it needs some. I know it's
right,
run
and
by
I don't know
private-
if they move it, they have to upgrade it or.
Yeah, well,
But I think that people are concerned about the level of care, and there are a lot of unanswered questions. If they move it, what's going to happen to the property? You know, is it going to be sold to the highest bidder? Like those are all unanswered questions, and I don't think it's fair for the voters to make a decision moving forward with Sherburne Commons without knowing what's going to happen to that existing property.
given all the other capital things that the town is doing, just hypothetically, the sewers.
Right.
We've got the elementary school, the new fire station, whatever they're going to do with the town building downtown, and so forth. It's in absolute terms, it's not a huge amount of money, but to the person paying their tax bills, they're seeing their tax bills go up, and if the money from the sale of that property could be used to defray some of the cost of a new.
If it remains town owned and run. But to spend all that money building a facility that we're going to hand off to somebody that's going to become a facility that is a private facility that nobody's going to be able to afford, I don't understand that. And that's not what is being said, but that is something that I
think maybe
see as a huge option down the road.
So what's the next step? Are you waiting for the next proposal from the town, the proposal that they're going to put a special town meeting?
There's just so many unanswered questions. They did do a proposal for Sherburne Commons, on land bank property, but the land bank did not agree to that. So that, they would have to redo that whole thing. So they spent money on a design on property that wasn't even available.
But they have also, but I thought they were now spending money on a design for the Sherburne Commons site.
That was the original on land bank property. It abuts the Sherburne Commons site.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
I see. Okay.
I do. Yeah.
So, but basically, you're waiting, and the people who are associated with you in this effort are waiting until something concrete is put forward.
Right, and we don't all have the same exact opinion. I mean, for me, I just feel like let's go the extra mile. I believe in, if I have to pay more money to have an amazing nursing home like Island Home, it's a great, they do an amazing job. I would rather do that. Like I think it's an important thing for the island to have and to have control over. I think it's important for it to be accessible to everybody.
But you also think it's important that it be on that site?
I would prefer it to be on that site because I know from Wheelers and from getting people out in the fresh air, being there, seeing people outside on the patio, I know that it's important. I feel like for a lot of people that's all they have is the view and to watch the boats go in and out of the harbor. And also I feel like a really important element is redesigning Island Home so that it's palatable to all the people that we want to visit. Because they can't go into town and visit, but they crave people and seeing families. And so, my idea was to create a facility on the harbor that everyone could enjoy. Have a playground there. Have a preschool on the second floor. So there's interactive, games and periods of the day.
Most of the people there pretty well incapacitated? Most of the patients?
No. They're physically they can't take care of themselves, but mentally, a lot of them are sharp as a tack. So I think that's a misconception that they don't understand what's going on. I mean, there are some people like that, but I think it's it's wrong to discount what's really going on in their head. They might not be able to get their words out, but that doesn't mean that they can't see the birds flying around in the marsh grass.
So what else have you got up your sleeve?
So, well, you told me that you saw my Facebook post with my new friend, Rabbit, and so this is donkey therapy.
Donkey therapy.
For me, but my goal is to.
This is a donkey, not a mule.
It's a donkey.
Okay.
It's a mammoth.
Or a Guinness, I guess.
No, they're called American mammoth donkeys, and basically this is the first. I've got two this size, but I want to do mini donkeys. I want to do them therapy donkeys, and it would be something that I
sort
could.
of like the STAR program, but with donkeys.
Well, it's something I could bring to Island Home. You can train them. They're small enough. They're like a big dog. Their head, if you're in a wheelchair, their head is exactly at your lap. They are so affectionate, and they're just so affectionate.
Similar to what they do with dogs.
Right, it's like a therapy dog, but it's a
a
therapy donkey. Yeah.
Does this have legs? No pun intended.
What do you mean?
Does the project have legs?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've already got my
big ones.
the big ones, yeah, and I'm actually going to.
I think these would be a little intimidating for somebody in a wheelchair.
Oh well, those they're so affectionate, but I don't plan on bringing the big guys to Island Home.
Anything else?
No, that's about it for now.
Yeah, that's about it for now. Well, it's great. It's something that somebody like you is as interested as you are and as involved as you are. And thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Darcy
Thank you.
Creech, thank you so much.
Thank you.